What's going on? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a quick rundown video review on the new Pioneer DJM-900 SRT Serato Edition Professional 4-channel DJ mixer. So what we have here is the familiar layout and build quality of an official Pioneer DJM quality mixer. Usually you'll find these installed in different clubs and different studios, and DJs everywhere around the world swear by them. This is the 900 SRT edition. There was a 900 Nexus edition that was introduced a couple years ago, and that was essentially the same exact mixer, except it had a Traktor digital sound card inside, so that way you can play your vinyl decks and your CD decks using your timecode CDs and timecode vinyl directly by plugging them straight into the mixer. You don't need an additional sound card whatsoever because it was Traktor certified. So this is the Serato certified mixer, and this is used so that way you can use your 4 record or CD decks in order to play back your digital library using your timecode digital vinyl system, without using any type of SL sound card as you would need in the past. The significance of this mixer is that this is the first mixer that isn't a Rain manufactured mixer that actually has the Serato time card built right inside of it. So we have a full 4-channel Serato time card sound card built right inside of this mixer, and that is going to be really easy for your setup and everything that you have to do in order to get rolling right out of the gate. So you have a really professional solid steel build quality that we're all familiar with within the Pioneer brand. All of your effects are situated all to the right side. Anything that's a DJM-900 or newer or later will have the same type of layout, except for the DJM-2000, of course. That's just another beast entirely. But all the other mixers that everyone uses, it has the layout of your effects all the way to the side, your 4 channels in the middle, your EQs, all of your headphone controls are right here on the left side and the bottom, and everything is just very familiar, very easy to read and to see, especially in your nightclub type of environment. You have your headphones on the top as well as your mic input on the top as well, and you also have your USB connection on the top. That's all situated so that you can install this into a case and just forget about it, and easy to change over and do the things you need to while you're using the mixer. So for setup, the setup was fairly easy. It comes bundled with Serato DJ, so you get that in the box. You get a CD. You can also go online to the Serato DJ website and you can download the latest and greatest software directly from them. And you can also use the CD if you want. And you also get bundled with it a set of official control CD, and you get the vinyl that you see here as well. So you get everything in the box that you need to start spinning with your decks right from the get-go. So after you set it up and you run all your drivers and you have all of your decks plugged in, then you go on over to the software. You make sure you have time code set up for those individual decks. We'll show you that when we get to the software portion. And we'll also show you the inputs and outputs and all the features that this mixer has to offer. Okay, so first up, this is the rear panel of the DJM-900 SRT. All the way to the left, you have a toggle push button on-off switch along with your standard AC in. There's also a send and return 1/4-inch pair for each left and right. This is for when you're using effects units such as the RMX 1000 or the RMX 500. Next up, you have your output section. You have your professional balanced master XLR output pair, as well as your balanced booth TRS pair, left and right. And then you have 2 sets of master RCA and a record RCA as well. The master RCA is controlled by the master volume knob, as well as the master 1 XLRs will be. Next, you have your P-Link or your Ethernet port. This is for syncing with record box software, either on your CDJ or on a USB drive or on your computer. You link this up so you can share different things such as BPM information. Next up is your digital inputs and outputs. You have a single master digital output and a channel 1, 2, 3, and 4 digital input. You have your traditional MIDI output. You have a microphone 2 1/4-inch input, and then you have 4 line or CD level RCAs along with 4 phono level RCAs here as well, 1 for each channel. All right, everyone, so here it is, the Pioneer DJM-900 SRT Serato DJ Edition Professional 4-channel DJ Mixer. So what we have here is the Serato DJ Edition version of the 900. They also brought out the 900 Nexus, which had a Traktor native instrument sound card built inside. That way you can plug in your timecode decks to play back your Traktor software. But this, of course, is the Serato DJ Edition, meaning there's an internal Serato DJ Soundcard. We showed you the inputs and outputs on the back, so all you have to do is plug in your vinyl or CD decks. Once you have them plugged in, you're pretty much ready to go. You use the supplied Serato DJ software that comes with it to get you started with the Serato DJ software. Next up, you have your official control CDs or your official control vinyls that you see here on the turntables. And once you have it all set up and ready to go, there isn't much more to it except for plugging in your USB cable to your computer. And once you switch on your computer, you can then go into the DJM-900 SRT setting utility. And in the utility, you will see all of your different decks and how they line up with the inputs. And when you change the actual knob on the face of the unit, they change to show you exactly what is going on with that channel at the time. So either you're using your digital, your CD line, your phono, or it's in USB Serato mode. Next up, we can go to the mixer output panel, and here you're allowed to change how you want the mixer audio to be output to the software. So you can also do things like change where your record out is going to be, and a lot of cool different features that you can do with the audio outputs using the internal sound card. Next up, you have your driver information. Here you can change your sampling rate and your buffer sizes to adjust your latency for your computer. And you try to get the minimum that you can without having any issues with the software. You can also go to the setting utility that's in Serato DJ. I didn't really have to do anything here, but it's here. You can set up all of your time codes, calibrate them all, change different things in your effects and your mixer. You also have your MIDI devices and your presets. Anything that you have ready to go with the setup will show up here, and you can tweak anything that you need to on the fly. So right here in Serato DJ, you have your different decks, and the BPM of your songs will sync up with the BPM that's shown on the DJM-900. You can change the decks to live through inputs at any time, and you can go back to digital inputs, and this is true for all of the decks you see here. All 4 decks of control are right here at your fingertips. Other than that, the mixer itself does send MIDI information, so all of your knobs and all of your faders do send MIDI information, but you can't really use this mixer to control any of your software elements. In order to control anything in your software, you need a controller like the Serato DJ SP1, which you see up top here, which we're going to review soon. Check back within the next couple of weeks for that. But by itself, it's basically just a nice time code mixer, 4-channel, that allows you to do 4 different decks of time code or live input control using the matrix there at the top. So we're going to run down this mixer starting right down here at the crossfader. You have a nice loose crossfader. The crossfader and the line faders all feel very, very sturdy, very, very nice. Feel like they're going to last a very long time. Again, you have that familiar build quality that's professional, inherent to the DJM lineup. You have your P-lock fader caps, so you can't take these caps off easily. They'll never go flying off during the mix. You actually have to pry out the middle portion, and then there's a locking mechanism, and then you're allowed to take off the knobs if you need to. But they won't go flying off. They won't be missing while you're in your club situation. The crossfader, again, is really, really nice. Has a really short cut-in distance. It was really nice for accurate scratching, very quick fader movements. You have your crossfader curve control here on the side. It's a switch. You can be either really, really sharp, in the middle for a semi-sharp, and all the way at the end for a nice smooth fade. Next up, you have your channel fader adjustment switch, which also allows you to change the curve of the volume for your channel faders. This doesn't really go to a place where you can actually scratch with them in a really tight cut-in distance, but you do get to change the curve of the actual channel fader itself. Next up, you have for each of your different channels, you have a crossfader selector or crossfader assign button or switch. This way you can make any one of your channels enact on the side that you set them to, or they can be in the middle and through, which means the crossfader has no bearing whatsoever. Next up is your line faders, of course. These have a nice bit of resistance to them, a little bit more than the crossfader. They're really sturdy, really nice for getting your accurate mix level. You have cue buttons for each one of your channels. That way you can cue up what you need to in the headphones, so that way your master or the outputs of the speakers doesn't hear it, so you can accurately get what you need to do in the mix before it goes live for your audience. Next up, you have your color effects knobs. These are hard plastic knobs, and at the middle they're at 0, and when you go to the right they go high, and when you go to the left they go low. These control the sound color effects, the 6 effects that you have here on the left. You have space, dub, echo, gate, noise, crush, and filter, and when you enact those buttons here, they start flashing, so you know which one is ready to go, and then you're allowed to start doing your different adjustments here on the side. For something like noise, you can assign that to a blank channel. Very cool for building up your effects. And then next up you have your low, mid, and high EQs along with your trim gain knob. These EQs are either in isolator mode if you have this switch to the left, or they can be in traditional EQ mode. So you can do full kill, or you can do negative 26 dB for each of your different bands. Next to these there are the line level LED indicators. That way you know exactly where you are in the mix and where your volume levels are at a given time. Next up you have again the selector knobs, which allow you to select between the different type of input that you're using on the rear. Okay, we move over to the left. You see we have your USB connection on the top. That's so you can install it in the clubs and you don't have to worry about reaching around the back in order to install USB. You also have your mic 1 port on the top face as well. And then you have your mic 1, 2 volume control knobs and your low and high EQs that works for both microphones. You have an on-off talk over toggle switch that you can use here in order to change how the microphone is in relation to the music or whatever you have playing. Next up is your sound color effects section, and next you have a link button. This link queue button allows you to pre-listen to tracks in record box when you have them in the P-Link Ethernet cable record box compatible device such as CDJs or a laptop. Next up you have your fader starts for 1, 2, and 3, 4. So when you put up your volume fader, it will automatically start if you have the compatible CDJs. Next up you have your headphones, mono, split, and stereo, split Q and stereo, up to you how you want to monitor your music. Then you have a Q to master fade knob. This way you can change by whatever you have in the Q, or you can fade into whatever's in the master. You also have a master Q button here as well. Next up is your headphone level knob, so you can get the volume just right, and of course your 1/4 inch headphone jack in the front here. There's no 1/8 inch or mini jack, so you will need 1/4 inch adapter. All the way at the top we have the master volume control knob along with your dual left and right LED meter, so you can see where you're at in the overall mix of everything. Then you have a balance left and right, so you can change pan to left and right, and your Q button and your mono and stereo, so you can create this as just a mono output, or you can shoot a stereo output as well. You have your booth monitor control knob for volume level for your booth output on the back. So effects. Next up you have your on-off button all the way down here at the bottom left-hand corner, so you can turn all of your effects on and off really easily. A level depth knob, a time knob, so that way you can get your timing and the level of the effect just right. You have a selector switch that allows you to select where you want that effect to enact upon. It can be channel 1, 2, 3, 4, microphone, crossfader A side, crossfader B side, or everything that's coming out of the master. And then you have all of your effects. We'll read them all out loud. You have delay, echo, spiral, reverb, trans, filter, flanger, phaser, robot, melodic, slip roll, roll, reverse roll, and then your send return. Next up you have a Q button here so that you can hear the effect in the headphones before you go live. And then you have a cool effects section here with an LED readout that shows you the timing of your effect. It shows you which input you're actually enacting the effect on, or which output. You also have the BPM readout on the screen and a lot of information that you're going to need right there, including the type of effect you have selected. Next is the X pad. You can easily start your effect by just using the effect pad and going to the left or the right. And it's a cool way to just touch on your effects and they stay on until you let it go. Or if you want to hold it, you can just move it around and get it to the spot where you want it, and you can press the on off button and it will hold it right where you have left it. Next up, there's a beat left and right, so you can get the touch X pad just right when you want to make little adjustments after you've done something on the touch. Next up, you have the tap button, so you can get your BPM just right, and an auto tap button to the left and a quantize button to the right. Those buttons allow you to get your effects right in sync with the Serato DJ BPM or with the actual live BPM that is playing through the mixer. Okay, so in conclusion, the Pioneer DJM-900 SRT Serato Professional Digital DJ Mixer is a really nice mixer to add to the Pioneer Professional Mixer lineup. It has the same professional build quality, that all metal chassis, and the very nice and sturdy faders and knobs. Everything is bolted down. Everything's going to last for a very, very long time. You also have that same excellent sound quality that all of the clubs come to know and love from the Pioneer DJM range. You also have a built-in Serato DJ Soundcard. That way you can just plug in your vinyl or your CD timecode decks directly into the unit using your RCA connections, and you're automatically ready to play with your Serato digital decks. You don't actually need an additional sound card like a Rain SL1, SL2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. You're ready to go right out of the box. You also have the Serato DJ software. It comes bundled with the mixer. You also get your timecode CDs and your timecode vinyl right there in the box, so you don't need anything else, just ready to go as soon as you get it out of the box and you set it up with your Serato DJ software and your computer. You also have this super extensive effects section that consists of all these cool effects. You also have your LED readout with your X pad for instant activation. You can always tap them in easily, manually, and you can also use the Serato BPM as well when you press the auto tap or quantize buttons. You also have your 6 color effects that are controlled with the effects color knobs and the filter knobs below each of your EQs for your channels. There's also lots of inputs and output options. You have XLR, quarter-inch, RCA, and RCA record out. You have all of your output options. You also have a digital out. You have digital inputs. You have 4 phono level inputs for RCAs and also 4 line level RCAs as well. So you got everything covered here that you're going to need in terms of inputs and outputs. Last but not least, it also works with rekordbox. When you plug in the cable to the Ethernet port on the rear, you will be able to sync the BPM information with the other CDJs that you're using or the computer that you're using to run rekordbox from as well. On the downside, the only fault that I can really find with this mixer is the price. The price point is about $2,300, and that's pretty steep for normal DJ gear, but for Serato DJ gear, that's about the right price. So when you have a Serato DJ Soundcard inside of a mixer, it's going to be comparatively at that same price point. So you can check out the Rain 68 and the 64, and they're going to be at around that same price as the SRT 900. So that's the only minor gripe that I can find. If you can afford it and you're a Serato DJ user and you really love the Pioneer DJ installation club style mixers, the stuff that everybody really uses and that is really familiar to everybody around the world, then this is the mixer for you. So for more on the full written review, you can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS, or you can click on the link in the top of the video description. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.